Jeremy and Joe, whole gang's here. Owen, Joe Callie.
What's up?
It's bright out.
It was very bright out this morning.
It is bright out.
I was because I had been off also for a few weeks, and then, I don't know, this week was a little more overcasty. So I walk out, and it was that sunny, and I look down at my watch. I'm like, am I an hour late? Like, was the clock I was looking at this morning, like, not set during the clock change or something? Like, oh, no, it's actually 5:45. This is how bright it is now?
Yeah.
I thought it might have been 6:45, and you guys had begun the show already. But it was not.
I walked out
luckily.
and thought, I started to do the daylight savings math. Like, should we be getting this hour of sunlight later? But then if we did that, it would be light until 10:30 at night.
Right.
Turns out there's
But
a
you
lot.
don't need that.
Right, and it's only May 22nd. We got another month until, like, days are going to continue to get longer for the next month. And, yeah, when I walked outside, it is bright. So, happy Friday. Sun is shining. And I don't know about you guys, I'm in a glass case of emotion. How are we supposed to feel about Montreal absolutely destroying Carolina in Game 1?
You know, I didn't know how I would feel about it, and
I still don't know how. I've got a lot going through my brain, and I don't like any of it.
I think I feel good about it. I think I feel fine. Maybe not good. Maybe I feel fine about it because I had that game on in the background yesterday. I decided I'm going to turn a show on that I've never watched before instead of, like, putting hockey on the big screen. So we had Scrubs on the big screen.
Oh, great show.
I'd never seen Scrubs, so I'm like, let's throw that up.
Are you going to binge that, like, in the early baby?
Yeah.
You're going to love it. It's a great show.
I mean, I love every other Bill Lawrence show. I'm like, this is the Bill Lawrence show, I think. So, all right, let me throw Scrubs on. So I got the game on the laptop and just on in the background, and it's 4-2. And I don't even care that Montreal just beat the Sabres. I'm only thinking about how much I hate Carolina. And they had brought up on the broadcast 20 years since they won the Cup. And they gave up more goals last night than they had given up in a single series in the first two rounds. So, I don't know. I don't hate Montreal, I guess. I don't like them. I'm not rooting openly for them. I'm rooting against the Hurricanes. And I feel like I'm not having that much of an issue doing it. I don't want to see Carolina win. I think it's funny that they continue to hit their head on this ceiling. You want an early stat of the day on the Hurricanes that is incredible, that if you hate them as much as I do from 06, you will love? Stat of the day. Since the Carolina Hurricanes beat the Buffalo Sabres in Game 7 of the conference finals in 2006.
A skeleton squad of a team that shouldn't even count.
Right. Did they sell their soul for it? Because since then, they have played 18 conference finals games, and their record is 1-17. They are 1-17 in the conference finals since 06. Which means they've been swept, I think it's 4 times.
Yeah.
And they won their only game last year when they were down 3-0. So I guess that's how I feel.
Yeah.
My hate for Carolina has overwhelmed any distaste I have for the Canadiens.
All right, that's a compelling case. I had a thought that was a little bit more dark and sad, and I'm sorry to bring it up at 6 a.m.
Uh-oh. What?
When the Bills lost in 13 seconds, we assumed that they would win the next round and go to the Super Bowl. That was part of the devastation. Of course, Cincinnati then beat Kansas City, which makes it weird. But when we watched Chiefs-Bengals, it was that game was supposed to be in our house, and it was the Bengals, and the Bills would have beaten the Bengals. And then you're in the Super Bowl, and then you're playing the Rams and whatever. Who knows? Like, do you win the Super Bowl? I don't know. We don't have quite 13 seconds. They collapsed. They didn't blow a 2-0 lead. They rallied from down 2-0. But I had the comparison, like, yes, sometimes you can lose in the second round and feel like you were one play away from winning the whole thing. And I got Colorado lost to Vegas in their opener. And Vegas is far from perfect. Colorado is, I don't know, I guess they're far from perfect. People were talking about Carolina and Colorado like they were, oh, I'm sorry, these two teams are just a cut above. And I never bought that on Carolina.
Right.
Carolina played a team in the second round that finished with 27 regulation wins.
Yes, they did.
27. In the East, only the Rangers and Leafs had fewer wins than that. And if Montreal rolls in to Carolina and wins that series, I'm going to be sitting here thinking like I'm a 2-on-1 with Tage Thompson away from the Stanley Cup final. And that is simultaneously good.
Yeah, I was going to say.
And also,
I know. It's too far away, though, for me to be like 06, they lose in Game 7 of the conference finals. There's only one series after that. It's easy for me to make the leap to they were going to win the Stanley Cup. But 2 rounds through, sure, I think they could, but it's not as much for me thinking this was the cup that they lost because they weren't even halfway there. There was so much room to go that I have an easier time, I guess, with Montreal winning, seeing that is a positive in that if they were to get trounced by Carolina, then I might sit here and feel like, all right, the Sabres are great, but there still is a gap. There's still a gap between you and them and the top of the league towards winning the Stanley Cup. Whereas if Montreal beats Carolina and loses in 7 to Colorado, I'm going to feel like, okay, the Sabres as is are Stanley Cup capable
ready
right now.
Mm-hmm.
And if Carolina were to have won in 4 or 5 games, I might have felt like Sabres are great, but I'm using Montreal as their equivalent.
Okay.
It's their equivalent to measure how good they are.
Extend this back the other way. If Montreal, again, it might just be rest versus rust, and we can talk about that. But if Montreal sweeps Carolina, and Carolina is again exposed to be, they're just, what division is that called? The Metro. They're Metro Division merchants.
Yeah.
If Montreal sweeps Carolina, can the Sabres not claim they would have been better than whatever Carolina? But how about Tampa? Mm-hmm. Tampa lost in Game 7 at home, giving up 9 shots without Victor Hedman.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yep.
Does Tampa have a claim to say, well, if we had won that one game, if Alex Newhook didn't bounce a goal off our goalie's leg, we'd be in the conference final. Mm-hmm. We'd be in the Stanley Cup final. And the reality is that you might have a claim for Tampa too. So,
right. Because you were one of the 3 juggernaut Atlantic teams that
and all
had
3
to go
of you,
through each other.
Yes, and one comes out, and if they beat Carolina, I'm also all twisted up about, I don't know if you've been catching Montreal referring to their thing as a 4-year rebuild.
Yes.
Which is
actually maybe the thing that's made me want to root against them the most.
It's objectively offensive for Montreal to start claiming, what a rebuild. Rebuild? Yeah. I guess now you can just spontaneously stink and then recover from it, and that's a rebuild. Okay, that's what we're calling that.
Right.
Because they picked first 4 years ago. After the year before they picked first, they were in the Cup final.
Right.
What a rebuild from this team. Crazy. Get out of here with that.
I watched last night, and I had gotten pretty well over the loss, the heartbreak and everything, and gotten into wow, the future's so bright. This is going to be so fun. The offseason's going to be awesome. Last night watching Montreal, I was ready to throw my TV out.
Bitterness.
Really?
Now, I was so mad.
That's what sports is supposed to be about. We had our time. Yeah. The sports stages of grief, it's different.
Yes.
It's not the same as the regular ones with acceptance. You get to bargaining, accept gratitude, and then flat out bitterness.
Right.
That's the standard state is I'm bitter now. I'm bitter about Montreal. I'm bitter that, Slafkovsky, look at that, what a goal. The guy was a ghost for a whole series against my team.
Exactly. That first line scores 5-on-5 in the first minute of the game, and you're like, come on.
They survived a full series without those guys scoring. Right. Now those guys start to score. It's it's terrible.
Yeah.
It's terrible.
It hurt.
So how am I supposed to feel about it? How are you all feeling about it? I feel horrible about it right now. It should be the Sabres. I was in a building where there was a 2-on-1.
Yeah.
And I guess a 2-on-1 isn't as guaranteed as, there's X amount of time left or the guy's got to hit a 52-yard field goal. But I have my best player and my best playoff player going in to win the series at home, and they just got to score.
Mm-hmm.
I
think that would be more easy for me to say they should be here if Tage had hit the post or something.
Sure.
Or if I don't know, Benson had hit the post and he had slided they didn't get a shot on goal on that 2-on-1. Right? I guess I'm kind of mad at Tage more than I feel like I got unlucky there. No, the guy was kind of making mistakes all series long like that. That kind of is I think right for what that series was, wasn't it? Like,
Probably,
how much faith how much faith should have had that Tage was going to score on a 2-on-1, given the series he was having? Like, I don't think a lot. And I guess that's kind of where I feel like I feel like what they got was appropriate. I feel like this is what you get for having the goalies you have. And this is what you get for having your star player play in the playoffs like he did in the second round. This is what you get for Alex Tuch going pointless in the second round. Like, I think you Montreal, are capable of being in the conference finals.
Except Montreal didn't get that because they got through that in round 2. Their star players not playing.
Well, their goalie also was better.
That's right.
And like that's half of that, I guess.
Yep.
Yeah, like their goalie was better for me. And I
their
think
power play was lethal.
Yeah, like I don't feel like the Sabres really got unlucky. I feel like they could have easily won. I think both Montreal and Buffalo were pretty close. And I think there were guys letting the Sabres down that let them down at the end. And I don't feel like I don't think if Benson had hit the post or Benson had made some big mistake at the end of the series, I might have felt differently about it. But the fact that it was Tage at the scene of the crime multiple times and then Luukkonen, I guess I just don't. Maybe that's why I don't harbor as much of a grudge against Montreal. I don't. I guess I didn't have a problem watching it, but again, I had scrubs on in the background.
Right,
so
fair.
That might have eased the pain a bit. Maybe that's the lesson. Throw scrubs on. You'll be fine.
It's it's a show that's learning about easing pain and things like that and feeling better. It's you said, what'd you say was the modern day Full House? You said Shrinking was?
Shrinking, which is also the same creator of the show.
Scrubs is maybe closer even to Full House.
It's not really modern though. It's 2001. Like I turned that show on yesterday and how old it looked almost had me turn it off.
This year I graduated college, so easy.
2001. I mean, it looked like
easy.
It wasn't quite HD.
That's right. 803-0550 and 1-888-550-2550.
I just don't want to see Carolina win.
I agree with that.
There's no part of me at all that can root for the Hurricanes ever. It can never happen.
Right.
And I think them being in the Metro and getting these free passes to the conference finals almost every year, I think now that we're a part of this playoff format, that's driving me crazy too.
Right, because it's going to be the same next year.
Right, like
unless
I feel like
Philly or Pittsburgh gets better, it's going to be the same.
Right. I saw Florida Panther fans, that there are a million of them out there, that they were dogging the Hurricanes yesterday. Like, yeah, this is the Hurricanes. Like, whenever we play them, it's like we know it's a free pass. If we get through the first 2 rounds, we're going to beat Carolina because Carolina's played nobody before they've played us, and here they are again doing the same exact thing. They're not even playing one of these blue blood. I guess historically they're blue blood, but not one of these Atlantic teams that's been a contender for a decade. Like Montreal just got here, and game 1 they win 6-2 on their home ice.
I mean, I guess a lot of it could be rest versus rust, right? Because there are the stats out there. The teams that wait 9+ days now have lost 8 of 9 game 1s.
Saw that.
So it's normal for the team that rested that long to lose. It's also normal, I saw, that the last 3 teams to have 9 days or more, 12 days of rest or more, the last 3 teams have lost the series, not just the game 1, but the series. And, what's to explain there? Could Carolina, if they go out, could they complain? And could the NHL's format get changed because now a team would say, it's a little bit wonky here. Built in are these weaker opponents, and because of that, we're building in these odd rest. Like, I'd do anything to change.
If they try to complain that our path is too easy after the season, I am going to want to take a torch to them at the end of the year.
They could, of course, still win. It's just game 1. But it's hard not to feel like the Sabres should be up 1-0 in the Eastern Conference Finals.
Oh, I agree with that.
Like, it's hard not to feel like
I agree with that. I think that I would believe the Sabres would have done the same thing Montreal did last night.
Right. Poured it on.
The only difference is Buffalo had been scoring in the first minute, right away, and Montreal had been giving it up. So I don't know how the beginning of the game would have gone, but yeah, I could have got there. The only other thing, though, is that the Sabres have not won in that building in 10 years. And would that have been a problem? Probably not. They've been winning on the road.
A lot. So is Montreal.
I didn't have that feeling about Montreal last night. I guess maybe that could change for me. Like, if they're in the finals, maybe that'll be different. If they win the cup, I don't know. I don't know how I feel if they'll win the cup. I'm not going to like it, but am I going to be distraught if Montreal wins the Stanley Cup? It's going to be tough. I feel like part of me is going to think, all right, I'm there. I'm on that level. This team, this was not any sort of a fluke year. Not that I think that, but that's confirmation that this team could win the Stanley Cup next year because the team that they went to Game 7 in overtime won the Stanley Cup.
803-0550. I have no idea how I'm going to react the rest of these playoffs. It's probably just going to be all extensions of disappointment that they're not in it. The Sabres, they're not in it. And usually it's easy to line up behind a team here or there, whoever that is. But I find it not that easy right now. Although I don't know who could have made it that I would have felt great. Like, Colorado feels soulless to root for them. Like, oh, okay, just root for McKinnon and Makar. Oh, okay, fine. I guess that could be fine. Vegas, we've got our baggage with Vegas and the two teams in the East.
Yeah, who would it have been? Minnesota?
Sure. I wouldn't have any sort of
What if they won? What if they won?
Anaheim, I wouldn't have any sort of real. Philly, no.
Utah?
All right, yeah.
No?
Maybe this is growth. Maybe it's growth when you
pick a team in the league that you would have been into rooting for.
But
if
that's
the
what I'm
Sabres been
saying.
Eliminated.
Maybe the Sabres are actually close enough for the first time that the idea of picking another team and being happy for them feels wrong.
Right.
Where every year I would be doing this exercise. Like, you know what? Edmonton would be great. It would be great if Edmonton won because McDavid, and it's been a while, and it's a franchise that has a lot of cups, and mainly about McDavid. And now I don't find that nearly as easy to do, to line up behind somebody. We'll get some calls in. How do you feel about, I don't know, the hockey being back, basically? How do you feel about watching that series that you feel like you should probably be in? Rob and Cheektowaga up. Hey, Rob, good morning.
Hey, good morning, guys. Hey, well, first off, I got to say about the Sabres, a heck of a run, man. I mean, from where we were to where we ended up, a heck of a run. No complaints on my end. But I got to say, I feel dirty doing it, but I'm kind of pulling for Montreal because I hate Carolina. Just like in the first round, I hated doing it, but I was kind of pulling for Philly, too, to beat Pittsburgh because I can't stand Pittsburgh either. So, as far as, obviously the Sabres are my team for the East. And I like the Mammoth. You guys brought them up.
The Mammoth.
I love the jerseys.
All right.
But, yeah, it's just, hey, no complaints, man. I'm excited for what the future is going to hold for us.
Yep. Thanks, Rob.
Excited to see what goes on with Alex, too.
Yeah, Alex talk. We'll get into that and Yarmo's comments. I know you guys talked about them yesterday as well. I wasn't here. On one other thing about Carolina that is also worth tracking, if Freddie Anderson just falls apart, then how different is that than any goalie so far in the playoffs? Are we getting to the guys that are left are coin tosses on whether they'll be good in a series or not, and that's not any different than what the Sabres have. And what the Sabres have also is that they lost the coin toss against Montreal. Who's going to have better goaltending? In the first two series for Carolina, it was Freddie Anderson. He was great against Ottawa. In fact, so good against Ottawa that I think he leads the playoffs in goals save above expected because he was so good against Ottawa.
Yeah.
Then they sweep Philadelphia, and he's never been this good this long. If all of a sudden he turns into the pumpkin and Montreal goes through, it's like, oh, okay, well, I guess Carolina's goaltending let them down again.
Yes.
And then I would have Dobesh, who I thought the Sabres should have beaten, into the Cup final. And I feel like what I'm doing with goaltending here is going to be talking about voodoo and finding magic and what could I possibly ask for? Who do you want? I don't know. Look into a crystal ball and tell me who's going to be good in May of next year.
Well, these teams are all picking a guy, at least, aren't they? Maybe not Colorado. They're the one team that's kind of gone back and forth a little bit.
A little bit.
But all these teams that had multiple goalies, Montreal had a 3-goalie system this year. Dobish didn't really, kind of like Luukkonen, he was splitting time all year until the final week of the season where he got a couple of games in a row, and they made a call. We've got Fowler. Montembeault hadn't had a good year, so it wasn't going to be him. We're going to pick Dobish, and we're just going to run with him. And that was through periods where he gave up 3 easy ones to the Sabres and games where he gave up 7. Dobish is our guy. We're sticking with him. And Carolina hasn't had any spot where they've had to think about turning to Brandon Bussey, but they had multiple goalies this year that stood out for them. And same thing, we're going to pick a guy, Anderson, who, by the way, has way better career playoff numbers than I thought he did.
Yeah,
he's got a 915 save percentage over 50 games in Carolina, and he had good numbers in Toronto. But whatever, they picked a guy, and I don't know, is that a lesson? Like, if you're the Sabres, pick a guy, and if he goes through a hiccup or two, you pick him. You run with him the way through.
Right. Is that the game 2 Luukkonen thing? Like, should they have just gone back? That's what you're asking for there.
I guess. Yeah.
Right? Like that. And that's
he gave up a goal from center.
I brought that up. Like, should they have just stuck it out with that? Because they committed to Luukkonen at the end of the regular season as, like, we're going to give you the games and give you the run. And it took a game and a half before that went away.
It's hard for me not to feel like that this is all just a roulette wheel, though.
It is.
Like,
I think it is.
Right. Like, if you had stuck with Luukkonen, I mean, Lyon went in and won game 3 and 4 in Boston. Luukkonen might not have.
Yeah. I mean,
and sure, you might say, like, Luukkonen would have maintained his confidence throughout that, but he might have maintained confidence, and they're down 2-1 to the Bruins.
Right. Yeah. I mean, Lyon went in there and had a 9.55 for, like, 5 games.
Yeah.
I mean, really, you could say it about either guy. I know, like, it would have been one change, but you could say, like, all right, like, Luukkonen gave up a goal from center. You keep going. You keep going and see if you can have him build momentum and his rhythm, and that goes better for him. Or you could say the same thing about Lyon. Like, all right, yeah, he gave up 9 goals in games 2 and 3, but did he play poorly? Lindy even said he didn't. Like, you keep going.
You keep going.
Like, I haven't hated his game. I know he gave up 5, but he's the guy that we had. He's our guy. We picked a guy, and now it's Lyon. And you keep rolling, and maybe he doesn't give up 3 goals in the beginning of Game 6 if that happens. Like, I don't know. It's the one difference that you have. Because otherwise, you're right. Like, the 4 goalies that are left are not guys, to me, that are any tier above what Luukkonen and Lyon are.
No, and that's
at all.
That, to me, is why my theory on the goalie move is it's not worth making a move unless you are getting out of that muddy middle area of goaltending in the league.
Yeah.
Because you'll end up in the same position with a different set of guys. There's a big fat group in the NHL of goaltenders that are all, to me, replacement level. They are all, you got a 50-50 shot. This guy could hit, this guy could miss. He could be great for you in the playoffs. He could struggle.
Yeah.
And there are a handful of guys that get you out of that zone. And to me, if you're going to make a move at that position, it is not worth doing unless you are getting out of that group. Because what are you doing then? Mm-hmm. You're just asking for the same roulette wheel that you're talking about, Jer, where you don't know. What are you asking? Like, Freddie Anderson's a guy that's a free agent. Like, that's a guy people will say, like, oh, maybe him. I don't need to do that. I could expect the same thing out of Luukkonen or Lyon next year that I would expect out of Anderson. So to me, it's not worth doing anything there unless you are getting way up in that realm, because it's just not a big enough difference to be worth the assets or the risk you take of moving off of the guys you had that worked this year.
And I guess that's what I'm at. Like, part of what also distorts about Anderson again a little bit, I think, is the quality of team he's played.
Right.
Like, and you're never going to get that on this side. So, like, I think Dobish is the better comparison because Dobish had to run into a little bit of struggling. And would the Sabres ever get to treating either guy the way that Montreal's treated Dobish? And would that even be beneficial for them? To say it would have been better for Luukkonen if he just stayed in. It would have been better. Lyon would have given you better results if he had just stayed in. And will the Sabres ever do that? I guess it would depend, because I bet you if next year's regular season went by and Luukkonen repeated what he did and Lyon took a huge step back, like that would be a situation where I feel like Luukkonen would start the playoffs and he would just stay in, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Like if Lyon had dropped down to like an 890 goalie in the regular season and Luukkonen maintained, like Luukkonen gets the playoffs no matter what happens, I think, if you get something like that.
Yeah.
803-0550 our number. Freddie Anderson last night, according to Money Puck, minus 2.1 goals saved above expected. So,
tough.
Rough night for him. Montreal wins it. They win game 1, 6-2. Blah.
And now Dobish is they're still the top 2, but Dobish is at 11 goals saved above expected in the playoffs, and Anderson's down to 10. He was number 1 before last night.
Dobish is now the number 1 goalie in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Great. 803-0550 is our phone number if you want to join us on game 1 and how you're feeling about that. We'll continue to dig into some of Jarmo Kekalainen's comments, locker cleanup, Lindy Ruff's contract extension. I haven't had a chance to give you guys my thoughts on that. I was out yesterday. Some calls along the way. Jeff Merrick joins us at 9 o'clock. We've got a great story to tell you. Owen might have a great story to tell you. We're going to save that for an appropriate time today. Don't miss that. And, happy Friday. Jeremy and Joe here on WGR.